on this episode of We Bought a Vineyard.
Yesterday, despite all our kind of efforts, we got quite badly frosted.
Yeah, we're pretty devastated.
My partner and I said, you know, we want to help you guys, and we know that they've had volunteers out before.
That support enable us to, basically still be here,
To walk into your bathroom and see one of the most dangerous snakes in the world going for your friend makes you a bit anxious.
Nearby at Hunter-Gatherer Winery, our good friend Brian Martin has spent most of his career making wine for other people. But then he took over a rundown property around the same time we moved to the region. He and his wife Roz are bringing that vineyard back to life. But growing grapes for the first time himself, Brian knows how tough this challenge can be, particularly dealing with this ever-changing climate.
It's a hard slog, setting up a winery. So you've got to be, the dedication is next to none in terms of making a winery successful and a vineyard successful. Here, typically, they've been started from scratch, and they come from a place of passion for the grape and for wine. A vineyard takes so much work. I didn't appreciate that when I worked in wineries, and the grapes would just turn up, and I didn't really think too much about all the work that had gone on in that vineyard. The pruning, the picking, getting up in the middle of the night to, for frost protection and so many things.
Back at Zigzag Road, it's time for some more vineyard management as summer approaches.
We were very late to finish our pruning and tying down, but we have now finally done that. And now what we're doing is shoot thinning. So basically what we're taking out is unproductive canes, so something that hasn't got any fruit on it, like this, because we want that out. We're even going to take some vines out, some canes out that have got fruit on, because you can see now it's really bushy, it's really thick. This is only going to triple in thickness in terms of bushiness. So what we want is to start creating airflow through the vines so that when there's a little bit of wind, whenever there's a day with disease pressure, the air can go through the vines. Lovely little vines all facing up with fruit. Enough canopy that the grapes don't get sunburnt, but plenty of opportunity for airflow. And the reason is, and we're going to be pretty ruthless, I probably shouldn't have taken that one out. One makes mistakes. There's chock-a-block with ladybirds. We've seen Christmas beetles, native bees, native wasps. We were trying to reduce the number of kilograms of fruit per vine this year, which sounds like a crazy thing to do, but we're just really wanting to focus on quality and not quantity. So instead of just getting as many Pinot Noir 72 grapes as we can, we want the grapes that do grow to be really, really fantastic quality fruit. There's a bit of debate about that theory, but we're wanting to at least get that benchmark. So let's do this year. This year we'll do a bit of a control. We'll shoot thin. We'll do what we think is the best thing, and then we can observe that for a couple of vintages. Yeah, obviously I'm working on this gorgeously vigorous vine here, but over there, yesterday, despite all our kind of efforts, we got quite badly frosted. It's in truth, we don't know. Again, lots of people have said leave it 2 or 3 days and you might see something bouncing back. I think some of it might bounce back. I've got a feeling that the top part will be okay, the middle part may or may not, and the bottom part where it's been badly burnt, I don't think that will bounce back. And I'm conscious that we're farming in Australia. Everything's hotting up, climate change is very real. We had a 40-degree day a couple of days ago. and it was a severe fire risk, and then a couple of days later you have a frost risk. There's stuff going on.
So this is all fantastic. This is flowering and no frost damage yet. This is the fruit, and then it will flower, and then it will turn into the grapes. But it's this is what will turn into fruit ultimately. So when this gets damaged, you're not going to get any fruit. So here's a burnt hay bale that on the morning of the frost I was up at 3 a.m. and lit about 8 or 9 hay bales. The idea being to create smoke that stops the heat from the ground going up. It stops the inversion happening so that it stops the frost. Unfortunately, when you look at the scale of the frost and everything that's being damaged, it was next to useless. When the sun came up and you could see what the smoke was doing, it's just, you know, it wasn't enough. And there's nothing really we could do. It was a bit of a waste of time to do it, but we gave it a crack.
It's burn. It's like a forest fire's come through. It's frost burn, and that's truly what it is. You know, with grass slightly higher, the frost will effectively, not the right language, but sit at the highest point, which means it's the cold and the frosting point is higher and closer to the little tender shoots. I actually think, frankly, this is such a severe frost, and you can see with the elevation that even if this was perfectly mowed into rows, we'd have still, I think, been this stuffed.
Yeah, so this is by far the biggest challenge that Harriet and I have had, and yeah, we're pretty devastated. What it means for us in the future, we don't quite know. You can see that a huge amount of this vineyard is now fried. There's an immediate impact in that now every single vine that you see that's fried here needs to be managed. And then there's just the loss of all these grapes. This is the only bit of income Harriet and I have. We've left our jobs. We've got no money coming in apart from what we can sell through the cellar door, and everything we sell through the cellar door is made from these vines. And so when you stand here and look around and just see, I don't know, 2 acres, an acre, devastated through frost of one of your best-selling crops, the Shiraz, you sort of wonder what's going to happen. You know, do we need to go out and get another job, or who knows? So it's definitely anxiety-inducing, and it's keeping us awake at night, and it's the reality of what we're doing, but who knows how that's going to turn out. So yeah, we're pretty upset and pretty depressed by it. The other thing is, you know, we made our Shiraz this year. We're standing in the Shiraz, and it's one of the ones we're most excited about. You know, cool climate Shiraz and everything that can be done. It's now put into question for us: is it even viable? Is it even viable to grow Shiraz in this particular area? And what does that mean? We've got these were planted in 1972, so that is we're extremely privileged to have vines that are producing grapes from vines that are 50 years old. There's no one else doing that, but can we sustain it? Is our whole sort of proposition of what we're doing here just destroyed, and what does that look like in the future? So who knows? Yeah, so we're pretty upset.
We're at the very end of November, and a frost like this, when the shoots are so tender, the grapes have just come out. I mean, no part of my, intuition or soul is telling me that this is bouncing back. This is, the vine is fine. The vine is deep-rooted and absolutely fine. But this year's crop, we've lost in this little zone.
In financial terms, I mean, it's pretty hard to estimate, but so our Shiraz is our biggest crop. We produce usually about 3 tons, which is roughly about 2,000 litres. And we've lost 50%, so that's what, 1,000 litres, 1,200, 1,300 bottles, 25 bucks a bottle. That's an enormous amount of money for Harriet and I. And, you know, one 3-hour weather episode, that's all gone. You know, if this happens again next year, me and Harriet are thinking again about this project.
You know, we took on an existing label and brand of Zigzag Road. And we kind of liked the idea of coming up with a second brand that was particularly ours, that let us be more, a bit more experimental and innovative, and was a style of winemaking that was straight off the bat a style that we really enjoyed. And so we wanted to put something alongside that really classic Zigzag range, beautiful, elegant, classic reds and whites, and then alongside that something that expressed a little bit more daring and innovation, perhaps.
We're working with Gilles, for example, who is an amazing winemaker that doesn't use or hardly uses any sulfur, and he'll make the whites by adding in skins, and there's no cold stabilization, so it's a cloudy wine, it's unfiltered, so it's a really sort of creative, innovative wine as well, which we're really excited about. So we're down, the Kindfolk's been received really well by bars and restaurants and retailers down in Melbourne that are really into that sort of just more modern, maybe a bit more natural winemaking. So it's a really, really interesting brand for us.
And it came to us quite quickly, and the idea of it being Kindfolk was because we're both English and we don't have family here. And so that support that people have from our community and the friends from Melbourne that have gathered around us to help us through from the very early days has just enabled us to, you know, basically still be here, you know.
I just contacted them actually maybe a week ago and sent an email just because we really like these guys, and my partner and I said, you know, we want to help you guys, and we know that they've had volunteers out before. So they said, well, actually, we're doing a working bee next week, so you can come out and help then. So that's why I'm here.
But really, yeah, building a community and a connection around winemaking, you know, trying to, you know, in terms of connection to the land, connection to nature, and we just really wanted to celebrate that. So I always say to people who have come across Kindfolk for the first time, this is a celebration of kindness, it's a celebration of good people around us, and so we've called it Kindfolk.
And the idea behind that is, rather than, you know, talking about notes of citrus and apple and pear and acidity and all of the things you traditionally get with wine, it's notes, and then we have their names on the bottle. So every year with our Kindfolk range, which is a sort of celebration of those people, we have their names on the bottle just to sort of celebrate them.
We always say to people as well, they're quite fun, slightly more luxurious wines in some way. And so we always say to people, you know, like the Pet Nat, it's so sparkling, it's so elegant, it's so beautiful, and it's delicious. And we always say to people, you know, open that on a slightly special occasion, you know, beautiful glass, bright day, celebrate it with kind people and good friends.
Back in the vineyard, it's late November, a lovely summer's day, and Harriet continues on the critical work of shoot thinning.
This vineyard was planted in 1972. It was then planted a bit later on in sort of, I think, the 90s, and it's been managed by 4 different stewards. So it's slightly idiosyncratic, and you know, it's not a, which I love, it's not a kind of straight out of the book conventional commercial vineyard, but that means that we need to really understand that the fruit, what does it look like, the vines up here, the vigor up here versus the vigor down there? Now we've been frosted, what does that mean for future planning? For, you know, where do we put our energy and our focus? You know, if we spent all our time focusing on that and not doing a great job up here, So it's really, yeah, it's a bit of a balance. Actually, in the scheme of things, we've still got the 2 vineyards back there. We've still got heaps. Not all of the Shiraz and Cabernet have gone. We'll still definitely be able to make it. And, you know, farmers deal with far worse than this. The other reason you get rid of the suckers, so on the base of the vine, you knock down all these suckers around the edge, and you take out all the unwanted canes, is that, of course, that means that you're really pushing the energy into those vines. So you're focusing the energy of the vine that's drawing up from the ground into the grapes that we want to keep. So not quantity, but quality, and it also reduces disease pressure. Actually, Gilles would say it's the most important job in the whole vineyard. Haven't quite finished, but you compare this one with this one. So I've thrown off, I've taken off vines with grapes there. So, you know, there's a pair of Albie's school shoes. But hopefully we're making this a premium wine. This is our most premium vines in terms of, you know, not totally, but 1972, it's up there. And we love our Pinot that we're doing with this. So, yeah, so if you look at the difference there, and you imagine how the wind gets a bit toasty on those hot, humid, hot days, whereas the wind can just pass through.
So another incident that's happened to us recently is our friend Maddie, at 9 o'clock in the evening in bare feet, she walked through this door and opened it up. It's a roller door. And sort of kept on trying to push it, thought it was a sock of Albie's or something of Albie's, and looked down, and it was a huge tiger snake that had somehow got into the house, and it was going for her feet. It was literally trying to get her. And I heard her scream and realised immediately it was a serious scream. And fortunately, it was stuck under the roller door, so it couldn't get out. And then we thought, what on earth do we do? Because it was 9 o'clock in the evening, and Albie was asleep upstairs. The tiger snake is obviously very dangerous if you come into contact with it. At one point, I thought about trying to kill it myself, and I had a spade ready. And then we just tried calling a few snake catchers and couldn't get through to anybody. And obviously we can't sleep at night with a tiger snake in our house. So I was very ready to, you know, kill the snake, which would have been extremely sad. And we tried one more number and got through to an amazing snake catcher guy who was here in half an hour and managed to free the snake, sort of picked it up, handled it beautifully, confidently, this tiger snake going for him, and then took it away. How it got in here, we don't know, but it just adds another dimension to, you know, we're a British couple. The most we have is, you know, badgers. And to walk into your bathroom and see, you know, the 3rd most dangerous snake in Australia and, you know, one of the most dangerous snakes in the world going for your friend makes you a bit anxious. But then the next day, we saw a koala in our tree, so it makes it all balances out.
So we get asked a lot, so particularly customers and friends in the city, you know, should I do this, or like found this winery online, you know, should we go for it? And I always want to be like really realistic and honest about the fact that it's like, you know, 8 days a week. Our pillow talk is like, hey, I had this great idea, we could do a loyalty program with customers, and like last night, Henry brought this up and I was like, I just don't want to hear it. it's like 8:30, I've just finally got Albie down, I don't want to talk about a loyalty program. But the thing is like it's full on and it's awesome to do it together, and it's tight financially, it's tight, and it's very different than a paycheck that comes in. But we love it, and if you love it, I think you can make it work. And the reason why I think for Henry and I, like, we're just so flipping, I guess, lucky, but it just depends on your attitude too. But this region particularly is just incredible for support. They're like, okay, yeah, she's obviously has some kind of background and, moderately intelligent. Same goes for Henry, slightly less. It's very, very tempting, I'll say this a lot, to be like, oh, maybe I'll just slip in that I was successfully launched this, multi-million-dollar program several years ago, or I ran this program in this country and all this kind of stuff. And it's very tempting to do that. And I honestly, if I'm honest, I do that. I find myself doing it. And I just think, Harriet, don't be an idiot. Like, they can, A, people see right through that, but B, that's just your ego out. So let's just be honest and go back to, are you from this through and through? No. Does this person know more about it? Yes. So let's just listen. It's about trusting yourself too, like starting to apply what you know and then being willing to be humiliated and admit that you don't know. All right.
Good job.
Sorry, thank you. Have a look inside. It's very shiny. Oops, sorry. I mean, I must have been in a hardware store like 3 times in my entire life to buy like a fly swat. And I can't stress how non-handy both of us are. And am I doing it the right way? Oh no. Turn right, you're going right. Yeah, I think I'm doing it the right way. I'm actually doing this wrong, so I might do this and then seek advice from Henry. Henry? So is that working, do you think?
Yeah, I think it's perfect.
Yep, that's perfect. Good one. Hurrah! Thanks for that. All right. I guess, like, Henry and I have worked out every job we do, we just try to add, like, 2 or 3 hours, and that's probably just inexperience and novice mistakes that we make all the time.
Use the thing to grade it over here.
That was better. We're just trying to, like, learn how to relax into making mistakes. I spent, like, an hour and 5 reversing out of that drive the other day with the trailer, and I didn't do it. And I've been using Albie's wooden toy truck. Okay, let's practice reversing through some Duplo blocks. See what I mean about things taking 3 times as long? Nightmare.
Next time on We Bought a Vineyard.
Just having a look in here for translucent spots.
Do we want to be mixing conventional chemicals and then spraying them? No, we don't.
Yeah, my dad's take on this is he thinks we're a bit bonkers.
Well, being a dyed-in-the-wool Englishman, I'm always looking for snakes.
He was a rock star in the 60s and 70s.
I jammed one night with Hendrix on bass and Buddy Miles on drums.
This is my version of being a rock star.